welcome to NarcShield. My name is Jennifer, and today I'm going to do a video for the first time in a really long time. I cannot even remember the last time that I did a video. And so I had some free time today, and I thought that I would do one where we can talk about narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder, emotional abuse, codependency, whatever just comes up. But I wanted to also explain to you a little bit about why I have not done any videos in a while. And so we're just gonna wing it today. And so anyway, welcome back if you have been here before. And if you haven't, welcome to the channel. I have been away for a while because I needed a break. I needed a break from being in the narcissistic cycle. And when you are recovering from narcissistic abuse, you can be triggered. You could be triggered for the rest of your life. But those triggers can cause you to regress backwards. And so I didn't want to go farther in the hole because, you know, I have my own life going on as well, and different things will come up sometimes. You know, we all know that sometimes life can get chaotic, and a lot of things that you need to take care of in your own life happen at one time. It seems like they all happened to me all at one time. And so I felt like it was a good time for me after, I think it was after World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day, because I was kind of going through a lot around that time, to just take a break and be kind to myself and do things for me and my family, and things, you know, that weren't all narcissism, about narcissism or narcissistic personality. I still have been around for people, and, you know, if people ask me questions, I have still posted things, but not on my channel. So here I am, and I thought, you know, I would just talk about some things that have come up, and maybe that's something that has happened to you. We're 2 minutes into 25. So here we go. I have had somebody asked me recently what she was wondering. She was like, I'm not even in love with this person, and she's like, I don't understand why I want to drive by their house, or why I'm so compelled to care about what they think. And you know, we talk about the trauma bond and being addicted to chaos, basically, but addicted to a narcissist. And that comes from when, and it's talked about so much on my channel or other people's channels, and some people describe it in different ways, but basically you get addicted to a person. You get addicted to chaos. And if you grew up that way, then that's what you just know. You don't know any different. If you didn't and you got entangled with a narcissist, they do this push-pull thing. And so they give you a little, take a little, so you get good things happening, and then they take it and they have bad things happening, and you get used to this. So sometimes you'll get good for long periods, and then you'll have something bad happen short period, and then good comes back and they treat you really well, and then they rip the rug out from up under you, and they're treating you in a bad way. And sometimes you're questioning it in the very beginning, especially, like, because you're like, is this my imagination, or are they being rude? Are they treating me in a way that it doesn't, you know, feel right to me? And so you question your own judgment, because sometimes in the very beginning it's so light, and so, like, you would want to tell a friend or something, and they're like, oh no, he's just working really hard, and you're just being really sensitive. And so then you will go, okay, well, maybe I am. And so you will put up with some things that you probably wouldn't, or the normal person wouldn't, you know, had they been going through it. So it can be quite confusing, and that's why people stay in narcissistic abuse for a really long time, because sometimes they're blaming themselves. A lot of times they're blaming themselves and taking on all of the responsibility of things that are happening. Well, if I wasn't so hard on him, if I wasn't nagging all of the time, maybe if I gave more attention, maybe if I gave sex more, maybe if I, you know, cleaned the house a little better. We'll always make excuses and take on all of the responsibility, where the narcissist is loving that, because then they don't have to be accountable at all. And they actually really do like to get with people who do that, who will take responsibility for everything, so they can actually blame everything on you and tell everybody it's your fault. It makes them feel better. And they love people who are really forgiving and will forgive them for anything, basically, and take them back. So that makes them feel very important, very special. And so they like to be around people like that. And unfortunately, a narcissist gets bored really quickly. And so you will be triangulated, and you may be in and out of the relationship all of the time. If you are the primary source partner for this person, the intimate partner, meaning the wife or the main girlfriend who lives with them or something like that, or the one that's with them most of the time, you will find yourself having wonderful golden periods sometimes, and then all of a sudden they're gone, and you're fighting, and you're wondering where they are, and you're stressed, and you don't understand what happened, and you're crying, and you're asking what happened, what did I do wrong, I don't understand. And you may find out that they're with somebody else and they're having the time of their life, and you have been booted. And then it could be a week later, 2 weeks later, you're back in again, and then that person's thrown on the shelf, and that person's going, what the heck, like, whatever, they got back. And it's like this revolving door. And if you, unfortunately, don't have a lot of self-esteem, have strong boundaries, and just don't put up with stuff like that, then you will get trauma bonded to this person, because you're being brought in, you're being brought out. And they're very convincing when they bring you back in. They can say things like, I'm so sorry, I don't know what I was thinking, I just got scared, and then I realized when I wasn't with you during that time that you really are the person I want to be with, and I want to have a family, and I want all the things that you want. And they can say all these things, all the things that you've been wanting them to say, so then you're wrapped right back up into this relationship again, only to have the rug ripped out from up under you again. And it can happen so many times, where you start to lose yourself and who you are, and you start to question everything. And you don't know how to even talk about it with your friends anymore. You end up isolating yourself a lot, because people don't understand. After a while, people are like, well, if they're so bad, why in the world do you keep going back? Why in the world would you stick your hand into the cage of a hungry lion if you know that that hungry lion is going to bite your hand off every single time that you throw your hand in there? And it can be very frustrating for your friends, and it's because they don't understand the cycles of abuse, and they don't understand that you're really being abused. And so it can be just emotional abuse, it can be financial abuse, where you feel like you have to stay, that the narcissist has taken over all the finances and brought you in and been taking care of you, maybe your family, paying for kids' college, paying your house payment, and brought you into this lifestyle that you probably wouldn't have had. This is just a scenario. It may not be like this. It could be anything, but financial abuse, where they are the ones who are controlling the finances. And so you end up being completely dependent on them. And they like that, because they know that you won't leave, most likely, if they are taking care of everything. It could be that they come in and they spend all of your money, all of your resources, and then leave you completely drained and move on to the next person. And you're like, I gave everything to this person, and now I'm broke, destitute, I have no idea what I'm going to do. And so there's so many different ways that you can be abused over time, and you want answers. You want to know why. Why would somebody treat me like this? I would never do anything like that to someone. But you're never going to get those answers. And so, you know, I can tell you, and other channels, people can tell you, you can go to counseling and they can tell you, look, you're not going to get the answers that you want, because it's something that it's a perception that you can't understand, because you're not like that. A person who doesn't have empathy, or a person who doesn't have a conscience, it's easy for them to walk in and out of people's lives and take advantage of them. They don't think anything of it. You are an appliance to them. You are someone that they pick up and put back down and they use when they want to. And that's all that is. And if you expect anything from them, that's not okay. The rules don't apply the same. They are superior. You are just an object. And to them, you need to work the way they want you to work and when they want you to. And you're going to fail. At some point, you're going to fail because you will not realize sometimes that you are making mistakes and saying the wrong things to a narcissist and giving them narcissistic injuries. It may not make sense to you, like, I don't understand why they got mad at me, but it will to them. And because you're not a narcissist, you're never going to understand it. And so it's best to just understand that you're dealing with someone who sees life completely different than most of the world. They're looking at everything through a completely different lens. And the best thing you can do is just understand that you've been in a relationship with someone who doesn't have empathy, may not have a conscience at all, and doesn't care about you really. They may have seemed to have cared about you, but only because they needed you in that moment, or they wanted you basically in that moment. And so they'll say and do anything. It's kind of like when, as a girl, young girl, and your father sits you down and he says to you, when the boys and the girls start liking each other, and they're like, listen, boys will say anything to get into your pants. So please, be very careful and don't just give yourself away. And, the father or the mother's really trying to instill this in you because they don't want you to get hurt. And, so you want to believe that young teenage boy, when he tells you that he loves you and that he wants to spend the rest of his life, it feels so good, right? As a young person, it's kind of the same analogy when you get older, and you may be still that young girl who is just always, or young guy, internally, that is always looking for love and looking to be accepted because you may have had a narcissistic parent, a narcissistic teacher, something that happened to you back in your childhood where you were always trying to seek love. And it may be that you are seeking love by always giving. And that's what you learned growing up, so you're always doing everything. And narcissistic people love people that will do everything for them. They don't want to do anything. They're pretty lazy. So they can be successful. There are different types of narcissist, and that's something that you can look up. HG Tutor on Knowing the Narcissist. He has different channels. The Ultimate Knowing the I forgot what it is. I'm sorry, HG Tutor. But Knowing the Narcissist, you can look him up. HG Tutor, and his channels are going to come up. And he describes all the different types of narcissists. He describes all the different types of appliances, different empaths. He describes everything in a way that's super easy to understand. He is a narcissist / sociopath. He says he's a psychopath. And so he is one of those people, so he knows his kind. And so he's giving it to you straight. It doesn't always feel good. It's not exactly what you may want to hear. And you're trying to win the narcissist all the time. You want to win, even if they are bringing other women in, you're like, but I want to be the one that they choose. They love that because you're fighting for them and you're making them feel so special. And all the while, you're feeling less special and you're feeling so invalidated all the time, and you start to lose your personality, yourself. A lot of times you stop taking care of yourself. You start losing your friends because your friends are getting sick of it. Your family's tired of hearing about it. They may even side with the narcissist because the narcissist is out there going, this person's crazy. Like, she's off her rocker, because they try to destabilize you. They want you to be unstable so that it makes them look and feel more stable. And it's pretty easy for them to do if you keep going back and crawling back and trying to prove yourself to everybody, or even hiding things because you're trying to protect the narcissist because you want to stay with them. And so you don't want people to think bad about them. And you know that you're looking bad, but you're willing to take that risk because you know you might take them back. It's this horrible cycle that people who are going through narcissistic abuse go through, and it can really just rip you apart to the point where you are looking in the mirror and you do not even recognize yourself anymore. But here's the thing, once you realize what's going on and that you're just addicted to the cycle of abuse, so you're hurting so bad when they leave, and you may even for a day or two or a week, you may be like, I'm never going back, I'm so strong, I never want to go back. Forget that. You may even get to that point where you're not crying anymore, but you get there, whatever. If you're addicted and you're in a trauma bonded relationship, you will start to miss that. You won't understand it. You'll be like, I don't understand. Like, why am I wanting to talk to them? Why do I care what they think? Why do I care what they're doing? Why am I so curious? It's because you want to feel better, because you have all these questions like, why did they treat me this way? Why did they go and be with this other person and not me? They said they didn't even like that person. Why would they go off and be with my best friend or my sister or brother or whatever it is that they've done to hurt you? Why would they go and work for that company and take all of our clients when, you know, we had built this up? I thought it was going to be me and you against the world. And it's like, no, you actually used me for the funds and then took off and made your own company. Why? And it's because you're hearing things, you're looking maybe, you're still being curious. So you really do need to go completely no contact. And no contact means not even talking about them. That's why when we do channels like this, even though I may not be talking about a specific person, and I'm just talking about narcissists in general, I am still talking about it. That's still, to me, not really being in no contact. So I have to be really careful sometimes when I'm even talking about it, because I am still talking about the narcissist. And part of no contact means it's as if they don't exist. So like, you know, one of the things that they do is the silent treatment. And they can go really long periods and not to talk to you and maybe come back in later, and act like nothing never happened. And so if you go and decide that you don't want to be with the narcissist anymore and you're trying to get away from them, and then so you decide that you're going to go no contact, they may go around and say, oh, look, see, he or she is the narcissist because they're giving me the silent treatment. And who cares? Who cares what they're saying? You're doing whatever you need to do to get your life better. But the longer you talk about them, the longer that people bring them up to you, the longer you keep going to places that they would go and maybe run into them, the longer you keep pictures around your house or presents that they gave you, the longer that you keep them on your phone and hope that they may text you, the longer that you're looking at their social media accounts and asking or running into their friends and asking about them, and you haven't told people, hey, please don't bring them up to me. I don't want to talk about them anymore. You know, I'm moving on to a happier space in my life. I don't have anything against them. I don't want to talk bad about them. I'm just moving on to make myself happier and get my life back in order. And if you don't let it go for your own sake, even though you have all these answers, the answers are here. The answers are right here, even on YouTube, on a lot of channels. People are telling you. It's just that we don't want to accept it. But once you get to acceptance and you realize that you are this great person, that's why they chose you. You have these wonderful traits. You're a wonderful person. And they just broke you. And they don't want to completely break you, but they wanted to break you down enough to keep you around so that whenever they want to pick you up and play with you, they can. And you were excited every time they do. But you have to go no contact. And no contact means all of those things. It means letting it go and taking all of that energy that you have put into worrying and ruminating and thinking about the narcissist and why, and trying to get the answers, and putting all of that energy back into you, your friends, your family, your career, your life, getting your life back together, getting your energy back. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck. You'll be stuck forever. You could be stuck forever if you allow it to continue. And it is difficult because you may have friends that bring them up. I mean, I got to tell you, a couple of times I've actually gotten super irritated because I created boundaries. Do not bring up blah, blah, blah. I do, you know, I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I don't wish this person any harm, but I really don't want to hear about them. You know, it's great if you have a friendship with them or if you run into them. I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's your life. It's just that for me, I personally would like to not hear about them and talk about them because I'm trying to be healthy and move forward. So when people bring them up, I feel like, you know, especially if it continues to happen. And one friend was like, well, I just wanted to tell you this. And I was like, yeah, but I asked you not to do this several times. And I don't want to have to get mad and pull away from you so that I'm protecting myself. But I will if this continues to happen. And this person, it's like the 4th or 5th time. And I was like, you know what, I'm getting ready to pull myself away from that person because I have created this boundary and this person keeps doing it. And then they'll just be like, oh. And I'm like, no, you've heard me, but you keep doing it. And so you have to protect you. And you are important. And you have this life that is here. Life is short. You know, here recently, in the last 4 weeks, 4 people in my circle or whatever, they're dying. And I'm like, wow, this is really sad. You know, I look at things like the Champlain Towers coming down and how quickly things can happen. Life is short, and you deserve to have a happy, wonderful life. Not just the narcissist. The narcissist is going to go, and they're going to do whatever it is that makes them happy, and they're going to do whatever it is they need to get to where they want to go. They're going to hang out with whoever they need to get to where they need to go. Whatever it is they want, they're going to have, you know, they're going to puppet things. But you don't have to be a part of that, and you can move forward. And in time, those people that have hurt you, it won't really matter to you as much because you're going to get strong and you're going to do really well and in your life, and it won't matter to you as much. But you do need to get away from it for quite a while to heal, because if you don't, you're just going to be hoovered right back in, or easily hoovered right back in. And a narcissist knows exactly what they're doing, and they will try all different ways and tactics to get back into your life. And once you have studied narcissism, you have learned about narcissistic traits and the things that they do to manipulate people, you can maneuver a little bit to stay away from it. You're not going to be able to control the narcissist because they change up the game all the time depending on what's happening. Who cares if they talk bad about you? People who know you will know that you're a good person. Because a narcissist, you can pick up narcissistic traits from the narcissist and start acting out. And CPTSD is real, and I'm not going to talk about that right now, but you can act out, and you can look that up if you don't know what that is. But it's basically complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and it can make you act out. You're tired. Most of the time, if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, you're exhausted because you're not sleeping. You could stay up all night ruminating or wondering where they are or looking for things and trying to figure things out. Once you know, as HD Tutor says, you go. So something that I have done recently, because I did take some time away, I always talk for World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day, and I post a lot onto my social media pages. But I decided that I wanted to do some of the things that HD Tutor has on his site, which is narcsite.com. And you can take certain tests, to find out what your narcissistic traits are, what your empathic traits are, what can happen, which traits the narcissist is going to look at for you and hone in on you and makes you more vulnerable. There's so many different things that he has on his channel that you can actually purchase. And so I decided to go and purchase some things to find out a little bit more about myself. And I found it extremely interesting. I actually purchased 3 or 4 things, I can't remember. But I found them super interesting, and I may do another video that will let you know about what I did. But honestly, you can go to narcsite.com and there's plenty of information there. I'm always talking about his channel because I think it's a really good channel. I also think Dr. Ramani's channel is an excellent channel. So I do talk about them quite a bit and I enjoy their information a lot. So there's my pushes for HG Tutor and Dr. Ramani. And anyway, I just wanted to get on here and do this video and let you know that I haven't disappeared. I just needed to take some time out for me and take care of myself. I have been out of narcissistic relationships for a really long time, but listen, it doesn't have to be a lover. It can be your family. It can be your boss. It could be somebody in the church. Narcissistic people are everywhere. Everybody has narcissistic traits. So you may question sometimes if you are the narcissist, especially if you started to act out and they pointed the finger at you and were smearing you. You may even question, but I promise you that's what they do. And they're doing that to gaslight you and confuse others to take the focus off of their bad behavior, throw it onto you or to someone else so that people will focus somewhere other than looking at the narcissist. Because if they really paid attention to the narcissist a whole lot, they would notice that this person has some seriously narcissistic traits and they may not want to be around them or have any dealings with them. Narcissistic people can be very, very charming. And people that are in relationships with narcissists, a lot of times they'll think they're like their best friend, and that they're going to be taken care of, and the narcissist is always going to be, you know, taking care of them. But I promise, if they're hanging out with the narcissist long enough, they're going to be tossed to the side sometimes, and somebody else is going to come in as well. But you can have a friend that is a narcissist and go through the same cycles of abuse and not even recognize it as a lover in some ways. And lover, a wife or a girlfriend that is living with them or a girlfriend that is with them all the time is going to get the most abuse. And a lot of people will not recognize that that person's being abused. You might if you pay attention, because you'll see that if you knew that person that they are in the relationship with long enough, you'll notice that their personality changed. You may even notice that they're not taking care of themselves as much, or they look tired, or they're getting bitchy or something like that. So there's lots of ways to recognize narcissistic abuse. And so if somebody is coming to you and they're telling you that they're being bullied or narcissistically abused, just listen if you're a supporter and try not to judge them, because you can invalidate somebody's feelings and it could be so damaging and make that person isolate even more and feel like they have nowhere to go. We do need to learn about ourselves. We do need to learn about our own behaviors and why we do things that we do, why we get into relationships with narcissistic people and stay longer than we should and not get away. So when you find out your answers, and they're right here, people are telling you that you cannot change a narcissist. Absolutely cannot. You will continue to try, but I'm telling you, you cannot change them. They will continue to treat you bad if you allow it. And the person you can change is you. And you can find someone that you can work for that appreciates you. You can find a relationship of somebody that's actually partnering with you. And you'll be like, wow, I never even realized what it was like to have a partner in life and have somebody to help me in the world instead of putting all the weight of the world on me and then blaming me when everything goes wrong and making me feel like a bad person. And I'm on eggshells all the time, and I hear their car or their truck or their motorcycle pull up and I'm in eggshells, and you're running around the house looking to make sure they're not going to find anything. You can be that person the rest of your life if you want to, or you can move on in your life and you can do things to take care of you and find the right partner that will care for you, and you can have a wonderful life. You deserve it. So until next time, thanks for being here, and I hope to see you again. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I promise I'll make more videos in the future. Bye.